Episode 4 was a good one. We found out what happened to LaMarcus. Will and Carlton got things to work on when it comes to their business and more. And we'll be talking about all of that in this Bel-Air Season 3, Episode 4 review. First up with Hillary and LaMarcus, we find out that he had cardiac arrest, his heart had stopped, and from what he said, it was a condition he had his whole life and he didn't even know it. While they're at the hospital, we get introduced to LaMarcus's parents. His mom is played by Nadine Ellis, who you may have seen from the show called Our Kind of People. She seems somewhat worried about her son, but the father, on the other hand, who's played by David Ramsey, who I remember from Arrow, he didn't really worry too much. He was too worried about football and his son getting back on the field. He even called his agent while he's in the bed trying to rest. LaMarcus went along with it. Maybe he didn't want to disappoint his dad, but Hillary cares about him and she thinks he should be resting and trying to get better. Y'all know they was gonna have Jazz show up. He dropped off some of his mom's coconut bars and he was just trying to be there for her. He also let her know that his parents wished her and LaMarcus the best. Jazz brought up the kiss situation and he told her that he didn't mean any disrespect, and she said he was right. When things get real, she runs. And the kiss was just her messing things up and nothing more. Yeah, right. It was something there. They were having a nice moment, right? Well, apparently Jazz was with a woman and she was either trying to figure out what was going on or she was ready to go. Y'all know Hillary got a little attitude, but he was telling her, he told her to wait in the car, and how did she get up there, bruh? She probably stopped on every floor trying to figure out where he was at. Hillary did sit down and have a talk with Uncle Phil about LaMarcus, and she mentioned how she hasn't been perfect. Uncle Phil told her none of them are. She's gonna make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't love him. Just keep putting in the work and showing up when he needs her the most. Which she did earlier in the episode when he was reading all the comments or articles about him being done, who's next. She made sure he looked good before they took a photo, just to make it look like he was ready for a comeback, even if he isn't yet. I'm glad she's there, genuinely caring about LaMarcus and being there for him, especially since his dad just wants to hurry up and put him back on the football field. Moving along to Will and Carlton, they had some disagreements in this episode. It was revolving around their business. It was only a matter of time before this happened. They're at a meeting and they're giving updates on their business to Quentin because they will be in front of different investors. It was all good until Quentin said, "Did anybody have any questions?" There were some things Will didn't know and that he should brush up on, but Carlton was there to answer them. Quentin wanted to know about the inventory so that they could be making some money before the end of the summer. Will was basically like they got it covered, but you could tell these two need to sit down and have a talk. Jazz's friend is working on their inventory. He's making the merch. So Will was asking Jazz what was going on because he was trying to get in contact with him. Jazz told them they might not be getting an update. He's already advancing the shirts he has on credit since they don't have any money to invest. Carlton suggested that they talk to Uncle Phil, but Will wants them to do things on their own, which is understandable. At the end of the day, they'd have to get used to doing things that way anyway. Jazz told them his friend is good and things will get done. They back at the house. Lisa stopped by, it's her day off, and she said she thought it'd be a good day to go to the beach. Amira was there so they could double date. Carlton and Will, they wasn't feeling that. They still got their own problems that they got to work on. When they got to the beach, they put distance between them and they was not having fun. Lisa and Amira decided to play volleyball against them and it didn't go well. Will and Carlton got into an argument and stormed off. I think the both of them can learn from each other. Will shouldn't be too mad at Carlton because he wants to have things in order and also because he doesn't know the business terms. If this is what Will wants to do, he'll take the time to learn that stuff. Luckily, Carlton was there because if he did go into the program solo, he wouldn't have anyone to be mad at but himself. And Carlton should have a little trust in Will when it comes to the inventory and other things, even though right now it doesn't look good. Lisa did try to help Will study some business terms. She let him know switching to something new can be a lot, but he can't fake his way through it, which is true. The plan would have worked, but she wanted to play a game where every time he got something right, they would remove clothing. He got some of the answers right, but they didn't get through to the rest because, well, they got distracted. Meanwhile, Carlton was driving Amira's car. She started kissing him, and let's just say she started heading south. She told him to drive faster. I was like, I hope they don't get in no accident. I don't know in this situation if she was trying to find a different alternative to find a new high, but once again, it goes back to what she said in episode 3. This relationship isn't going to go well after a while. Carlton's back home and he decides to tell Jeffrey the truth about the other night. He straight up told him that they were street racing and he was sober. Earlier, Will got questioned by Jeffrey about what happened, but he avoided it. He didn't want the pressure to keep spinning lies. It felt like the old him, and he didn't want to go back to that place. Jeffrey let him know it takes a big man to come clean on his own accord, and Carlton was going to bring something up about Frederick, but Jeffrey said leave that to him. Which he did. Later on, he went snooping around Frederick's room and he found a burner phone. He wasted no time trying to see what was going on. Back to Carlton, I'm glad he told the truth. He wants to improve and not go back to how he used to be. Because we know how the situation could have been. Some events might happen where it's revealed or he starts getting anxiety trying not to tell what happened. And in a way, it starts to affect him, but he's taking a step in the right direction. The next day, Will and Carlton have a talk. Will says if they're going to be partners, they don't need to be beefing. That Carlton's already boardroom ready and that he's playing catch up, but he will get there. And just for Carlton to trust him, and Carlton understood if he was the one playing basketball, he wouldn't be able to dunk right away. Will said he wants to win on his own terms, no handouts, and he will do the work to get there. Both understand that they want the business to work and that they're in this together, so they good now. Just as they got done talking, their merch arrived. Will actually ordered more than expected. Now they gotta pay the dude his money in 7 days, so they gotta come up with a plan on how to sell their merch. The talk they had was much needed. Will knows that he's going to have to put in some work to make sure that he has an understanding of everything that's going on. And Carlton is understanding that Will is new to this stuff and it's going to take him some time to learn it all. Now Uncle Phil is talking to Jeffrey. This might be the time for him to leave Erica's firm because she told Aunt Viv about the kiss. Uncle Phil did say he should have said something, which he should have. It would have went way better than how it's going now. But Jeffrey believes that they'll both get through it. If Uncle Phil leaves her law firm, he's going to need some big clients, and he knows Omar thinks he's not a good fit for the job. Uncle Phil said it's going to be a messy situation, and Jeffrey said he's not scared of messy, so Uncle Phil's going to work with Omar. Later on, Uncle Phil goes and tries to talk to Omar, but he sees some protesters there, Yolanda's there, and her and Omar are exchanging words. Uncle Phil popped up and tried to correct what Omar had said, letting the people know that Omar's project will create jobs that'll be helpful, and that there'll be regular forums open to everyone so that people will be heard. Of course, Omar didn't agree to that, but he had to go along with it. Then a reporter was wondering how was he tied to what was going on, and Omar said he is his legal counsel representing the development. I get it, Uncle Phil has to take this job since he'll be on his own now, but just wish it was a different one. This may not go as he planned, and who knows, it may even get him thinking, is this the right decision? But we'll just have to wait and see because there are people that's being affected by what's going on. Aunt Viv in this episode went to the club with her friends. In the beginning, we see her talking to her friend Joan. She tells her about the artist that was mentioned before, that she's thinking about picking her as the new Neiman Fellow. Then Aunt Viv told her about the Uncle Phil kissing Erica situation, which I hope Erica didn't tell her that Uncle Phil kissed her because she's the one that kissed him. Joan could tell she was stressed out about it, and she told her that they should have a girls' night out. They was out there drinking, dancing, having fun. And the actress who you may all know, I was just watching a show that she was in and wondered if she would appear in this show, which she did. And I'm talking about Melissa, who's been in many shows and movies you may know like Best Man, 101, Our Kind of People, and more. She plays as a character named Steph in this show, and she was ready to party. It was all good until the chef got brought up again. Steph likes him, and she was on Aunt Viv's phone liking photos. That right there is a problem. He's gonna think it's from Aunt Viv, and her and Uncle Phil don't need no extra drama. She was all partied out. She went home, and Uncle Phil wanted to talk to her, but he saw it wasn't the right time. Hopefully they get over the kiss situation. They do make a good couple, but there are things that they have to work on. Overall, it was a good episode. Carlton's taking a step in the right direction. Will and Carlton came to an understanding on things and will work together. Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv have stuff that they need to work on and more. But I am interested to hear y'all thoughts. Comment below. What did you all think about the episode?